Hi, welcome back to my channel. Okay, I've been thinking about how to approach this book review. First of all, it's Shalini Boland. Okay, anybody that reads books from Bookouture knows the name Shalini Boland. So, before we talk about this book, which is The Daughter-in-Law, we are going to go back into my history, and I'm going to tell you how I feel about this author, Shalini Boland, and what I have read. The Best Friend, The Perfect Family, The Girl from the Sea, The Millionaire's Wife, The Family Holiday, The Marriage Betrayal. I mean, you give it to me and I'm going to read it if I can. Let's see. The Silent Sister, One of Us is Lying, The Couple Upstairs, My Little Girl, A Perfect Stranger. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I love Shalini Boland. So, I'm on the Bookouture anonymous group, and a request for a blog tour comes up for The Daughter-in-Law. Yes. Read the blurb. Why bother? Is it going to be good? Of course it's going to be good. Why? Because it's Shalini Boland. Well, guess what? Even though I got this as a Kindle book, it came up as an audiobook. Boom, I grabbed it. I loved it. I loved the narrator. I don't remember her name, but I loved the narrator. A UK narrator, British accent, on point, and here's the story. Now, I want to just say this. Well, I'll tell you the story. Seb brings home his wife, Caroline. Okay, Seb lives in the UK. He goes to Australia for a few weeks, and he comes home and he says, "Mom, Dad, this is my wife, Caroline." What? What? After all you've been through, you're going to bring a woman into my home, our home, and tell us that she's your wife? Well, that's the reaction that his mother, Lillian, has. Now, before we talk about Seb and Caroline and Lillian and her attitude and the others in the story, I want to try to give you the atmosphere. And for reasons that I have no idea of, this kind of gave me a kind of deja vu. You have Caroline, who comes into a situation where they own a pub, and the family lives right on the premises. A very large, not a very large, but a large apartment. And in this apartment, Seb lives with his parents. So Caroline moves in. And right on the same property, his brother and his wife and their infant son also live there. But this is what Caroline comes into, a setting. But the setting is kind of dark. It's dark because of the atmosphere with this family acting all hinky because Seb brought her home. Now, Caroline was living an okay life in Australia. She worked tending a bar, running a bar, managing a bar, in fact. But now she's at square one, doesn't even have a visa because she was brought home by her husband. The thing is, this Fletcher family that Caroline has come into, it's not a pretty place. They're secrets. They're secrets. And it is these secrets that make this book into a thriller, a psychological thriller. So, what's the setting again? That dark family thingy. And you wonder about Lillian. Yes, we have Seb and Caroline newlyweds. We have Lillian and her husband. We have Seb's brother and his wife, as I mentioned. But we've got Lillian, Seb's mom, who is instantly in instant hate. What? So, if it's a psychological thriller, what do you expect? You expect secrets, twists, lies, right? If it's Shalini Boland, what do you expect? Secrets, twists, lies? Definitely. Okay? Now, is it intense? Absolutely. Is it secretive? Absolutely. The twists. Can I say it a third time? The twist, yeah. Shalini Boland has given us some great twists. And when you get to the ending, if you're anything like me, you're going to be surprised. And I definitely was. Now, let's talk a little bit about Seb Fletcher, Caroline's husband. How did they meet? Well, they met online. Now, when he heads to Australia to meet her, he had already fallen in love with her. So marriage seemed like it would be natural, and it was. So he brings her back home to his family pub. And like I said, what Caroline walks into is not a great situation. But then there's something about this book when it comes to the twist, and I'm going to talk about that here. We have points of view. We have Caroline's point of view. We have pretty much 50% of the story is Lillian's point of view, all in first person. But then there's a point of view of Amy and Meg. Meg is Caroline's sister-in-law. Who's Amy? Not going to tell you. I'm going to leave that to you. Now, Seb's brother Felix is kind of an interesting character. His father Brian is an interesting character. But your biggest interests are Lillian, Caroline, and Amy, the one that I haven't told you about. So, I just looked down at my Kindle and I realized, not my Kindle, my iPad, Katie Villa, and I've listened to books narrated by her before. She did a great job. So I got to listen to this book, and let me tell you, this was a book that I started and I finished in one sitting, because that's what Shalini Boland does when she writes a book. She compels you to want to read from beginning to end. And she does not let you down, and she didn't let us down with this book, The Daughter-in-Law. And I highly recommend it. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's $3.99, but I'm checking to see if this is on Kindle Unlimited. I imagine that it is. Yes, it is. So please get this book. And if you remember at the beginning of the video, what did I name? 10, 11, 12 books I read by her? She never lets me down, and she didn't let me down this time. So there you have it. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.